Hello and welcome to step number 4 of the Kinky Twist Extensions hairstyle. In this step, I'm going to be teaching you how to curl seal the ends of your Kinky Twist braids to give you that consistent classic look. So first, you have to make sure that you have a couple of materials so that the step can go as smooth as possible. You need a large dry towel, hair cutting scissors. You also need your perm rods and a cup of hot water. So I'm going to be walking you through this process and giving you tips along the way to give you your best results. To show you how to curl and seal the ends of your Kinky Twist extensions, I'm going to be demonstrating on my last section of hair that you see here, because the rest of my hair has already been curled at the ends with this exact same technique. So first, before we begin, you have to make sure that you have all of your materials ready for you on your table, and you have to make sure that you're using a sturdy table as well to rest your cup of hot water that you're going to be using to seal the ends of your braids. Be very careful when using something very hot or something that is possibly flammable, because you assume all responsibilities for your health. So be sure that you're not leaning on the table when you're using something that's very hot so that you can prevent any accidents from occurring. So right before we begin curling, I'm going to talk a little bit about if you should curl the ends or how far you should actually curl your ends, whether you choose to do more of an extreme curl or a subtle curl to your braids. Depending on how long your hair is, you have to make sure that you're keeping that in mind when you're actually dipping the ends into hot water. Now, my hair somewhere falls in between about this area here on my braids, so I'm not going to roll the rollers or the perm rods all the way up that portion of my hair, because if you hot water seal the ends of your hair, you're going to cause extreme damage and breakage. So make sure that you are rolling the perm rod well below where your real hair ends, and then only dip the rod into the water. You don't want to dip your entire braid or as much of your braid as you can, because you will accidentally apply hot water to your hair, and that extreme temperature will cause breakage. So grab your section of hair, and you typically want to grab somewhere between 5 Kinky Twist braids to 8 Kinky Twist braids. This depends on the size of your braids. If your braids are larger than mine, you're going to have to grab less braids than I have, so that way you can effectively roll the ends without it looking bulky. If you have smaller twists than I do, you can grab a larger section of Kinky Twist braids and roll the ends. So now I'm going to show you how to roll the ends by removing my duckbill clip and grabbing my perm rod. You want to elongate the Kinky Twist outward away from your face, because not all of the ends of the Kinky Twist are the same length. Now, if you were to smooth perfectly down and roll your ends, it won't have that staggered volume that it would naturally have, because every Kinky Twist is of a natural length. So you have to extend it a little bit outward from your face, so that way when you curl the twist and the twist lay down, they're at a very slightly staggered length to give you a natural look. So use your hands to slightly smooth away from your face. As you near the ends, the tail end, you're going to pinch with your hand. You're going to grab your perm rod, and you're going to rest your hair over top of the perm rod right near where the plunger is located. Now grab the tail end, and you're going to wrap very tightly against the perm rod, making sure not to overlap the ends of your hair. After you've done that, you're going to pinch with your finger to hold that end of the hair securely so that it's not unraveling from the perm rod. Then with your other hand, you're going to grab all of the hair, and you're literally going to rotate it around the perm rod itself. After you've rolled just a couple of times, you're going to place the plunger at the top of the perm rod, and this is what you're actually going to seal within the water. Make sure you're not going too far up to your hair, because you don't want to actually apply hot water to your real hair. So just to be safe, you can always unravel just a little bit, so that way you have the very ends of your twist. Now what you're going to do is just dip this into hot water, but before you do so, make sure to grab your large towel and have it positioned right in front of you. You can rest this towel on your chest or in your lap, but the purpose is so that you can have both hands grab your towel. So when you lift your end of your perm rod out of the water, you can just enclose the rod in between the towel, so that way it doesn't drip any hot water on your legs or on your body in any way. So do not support your body weight on the table whatsoever. You are just going to be leaning over the cup of hot water to put your end of your twist into the water. Depending on however many twists you can gather and how wide the opening of your cup will determine how many of the perm rods you can dip at once. But just to be safe, only dip anywhere between 2 to 4 perm rods to prevent too much water from dripping on your table. So you're going to slowly lower this into the water and leave in for a couple of seconds. Once you've just submerged the perm rod, twirl around to release any air bubbles so that it can thoroughly be sealed to prevent unraveling and have the curl intact. So now what you're going to do is grab your towel, lift it up, and then as you're coming out of the water, you're going to actually enclose the perm rod within the towel. So now at this point, you're going to be squeezing the end of your perm rod, making sure that there's no hot water dripping from the actual rod itself. After you've done that, you're going to gently unravel the perm rod. You're going to separate the kinky twist with your hands and then use your hair cutting scissors to snip off any additional pieces near the ends that are undesirable. This step of the Kinky Twist Extensions hairstyle was focused on teaching you how to seal and curl the ends of your Kinky Twist extensions. In order to seal the ends of your extensions, you have to do so by dipping them into hot water because this prevents unraveling. But then to curl the ends, you have to use perm rods and hot water for doing so. Make sure that when you're curling your ends, you are only rolling the appropriate length to make sure that you are not going to be sealing the ends of your real hair because this will cause breakage and damage. Also, the higher you actually roll the hair up onto your perm rod, the more extremely curly your style will look. So to get that classic look, just curl about 2 to 4 inches of the ends of your Kinky Twist extensions. After doing so, be very careful to dry off the water that's on the actual perm rod with your large dry towel. And then when you unravel, you're just going to snip the ends. So now that you're done actually curling the ends of your Kinky Twist extensions, in the very next step, step number 5, I will be showing you the finished results of the Kinky Twist extension hairstyle.